Sorry, you might get the flu twice this year, here's why. 2 flu strains are overlapping with each other this flu season. This means you can get sick twice from different flu strains. While the flu vaccine isn't a perfect match, it's the best defense against the flu. Those concerned about the new coronavirus circulating around Wuhan, China, should be concerned about a more deadly virus in the United States that's already claimed up to 20,000 lives. Trusted source, Influenza. Up to 21 million people have gotten the flu this year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's (CDC) latest estimate. Trusted source. Up to 250,000 people have been hospitalized due to the flu, and 54 children have died from it. 15 of those pediatric deaths were reported this past week, in Minnesota, Tennessee, Massachusetts, and Idaho, among others. For comparison, only 2 people, in Washington and now Chicago, have tested positively for coronavirus in the United States. Health experts suspect this could be a very deadly flu season, similar to what we saw in the 2018-2019 season. That's not the only surprise about this year's severe and fast-spreading flu season. It also got its earliest start in 16 years. We're seeing more B strains than we are A strains, something that hasn't happened in the United States in nearly 30 years, and presumably the reason so many people don't have any residual immunity to what's going around. And, unfortunately, the vaccine missed the mark with B. Victoria, the most common strain we're seeing this year. The CDC believes the shot only covers about 58% of B-linked cases. Now, halfway through flu season, A strains are picking up, increasing the odds we'll have a double-barreled flu season, in which 2 strains strike back-to-back, a pattern health experts say is extremely rare. Between the early start, rise in B strains, and a recent spike in A strain illnesses, this flu season officially has infectious disease experts stumped. This season has turned a lot of what we know about flu on its head, said Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease specialist with Vanderbilt University Medical Center and the medical director at the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases. There's a lot we know, and even more we don't know about the flu. Double-barreled flu season. A double-barreled flu season occurs when 2 flu outbreaks overlap one another, a pattern which is very unusual, according to flu experts. Last year, for example, we saw H1N1 infections peak early, followed by another wave of H3N2 infections. Though the predominant strains are different this year, we're seeing the same pattern play out. Activity took off with B. Victoria, and now that second wave of H1N1 is coming for us, according to Schaffner. Around the country, my colleagues and I are seeing H1N1 come up strong, and it's now about 50-50 with B. Victoria, Schaffner told us. The most worrisome part of a double-barreled flu season is that you can get sick twice. Just because you caught a B strain flu doesn't mean that you're immune from the A strains. There will be the rare person who gets 2 flu infections in the same season, one with B and one with H1N1, Schaffner said. Though there will be some protection within each strain, in that contracting an A strain will protect you against other A strains, and B strains will protect against other Bs, there's not much cross-protection. A double-barreled season also means we're more likely to see a prolonged influenza season. What to know about B and A strains? The fact that B strains are predominating this year isn't just confusing, it's concerning as well. B strains haven't hit this hard for nearly 30 years since during the 1992-1993 season, the CDC told us. Additionally, we didn't see much of the B strain in the past couple of years, according to Dr. Norman Moore, the director of infectious diseases for Abbott. This means that many people, especially kids, have never been exposed to the strain, and consequently, don't have residual immunity against it. When there's a rarity, it actually sets you up for another bigger push to get it, because, at that point, we really don't have anybody with any strong immunity going around, so we're all potential vessels for getting exposed and transmitting it, Moore said. This is one of the reasons kids are being hit harder this year. They've never been exposed to this type of flu, it's their first go-around. These kids are just brand new to getting flu B, Moore said. And because we haven't seen much of the B. Victoria strain in the past few years, this year's vaccine missed the mark. We thought initially the match was perfect, but it's not. It's off a little bit, and that means in many populations the vaccine is not going to function optimally, Schaffner explained. Fortunately, the vaccine covers H1N1 well. According to Schaffner, the match to H1N1 is right on. And because the strains circulate every year, most people have built up at least some immune memory to it, despite the fact these strains change and mutate each year.